Hi guys, I'm Bobsy, and this video is essentially going to try and mitigate cheating or at least improve fairness in our shooter game. Now, we're going to use a technique that's called collider rollback, and this shouldn't be confused with prediction. It has some similarities, but this is a lot simpler, and PurrNet luckily has a component that makes it really simple for you. But first, let me just explain a bit on how it works. So what I've done is I've just drawn it up here, and let's say that this white ball here, that's us. That is us as a player. And all of a sudden a wild enemy player appears, right? And we want to shoot him. So we shoot at him. Pew pew, right? That's this ray. That's the ray cast that gets shot when we shoot. And on our screen, we clearly hit him, right? But on his screen, he's actually way ahead. Because obviously, as we all know, networking has a delay, right? There's a latency, there's a ping. Things aren't perfect and things are going to misalign. Now, the question is, in this situation, did we actually hit him or not? Because on our screen we hit him, which seems fair, right? But on his screen we didn't hit him, and so on. And essentially collider rollback can help you mitigate this issue a bit. The game isn't inherently going to feel more responsive. Essentially right now it's fully client auth, which means we can't get more responsive than that. It means logic is running locally. But what we can do is we can try and improve fairness by essentially having the server decide what actually happened. So essentially the way collider rollback works is that all of the past positions that a player has been in, right? So he's on his screen right here, but on the server receives that he's been here, 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 and so on while he moves. This is essentially the server recording what's going on. And this recording is then used to figure out, did we actually hit him or not? So when the player shoots, the player will just say, hey, I shot a ray from this position in this direction at this point in time. And it sends that to the server, and what the server will then do is the server will then run this raycast at that point in time and check, was the player actually, being hit at that point in time? Was it within the ray or was it not? And then actually change the health. This means that now the shooting will go from being client authoritative to server authoritative, meaning it's much harder to cheat. Obviously, don't get me wrong, this doesn't make the game cheat proof. There's plenty of ways to cheat. There's wall hack, aimbot, all this kind of stuff. Our movement is still client auth as well, so you could movement cheat too. But this way, at least the shooting won't actually be cheatable, because in the past you could just, always hit everybody all the time. This will mitigate that, make it a little harder, and more importantly, it'll make the game feel more fair, because there's a single source of truth. The difficulty with client auth games, as ours is right now, is the fact that the client itself is the one saying, hey, did I hit him or not? And that's an issue because, the clients can just lie and the clients can see other things. It could be that this guy has a ping of 500, right? And then he actually sees this guy like way in the past, or let's say in fact this guy is all the way up here on his screen, but he somehow gets hit from this shot. That seems unfair. And the server will essentially mitigate that and say, hey buddy, in that point in time you didn't actually hit him. Now, PurrNet already has documentation on this. We have a collider rollback page, and I'm going to put that in the description too. And I'd really urge you to go read it through if you want to understand what's going on. We're essentially going to be doing pretty much what the guides go through. So first of all, what we're going to do is we've got to set up the collider to actually be rolled back. This means we need to tell the server that it has to record this. This is because in PurrNet, and like any other system really, we don't want to record everything all the time. That's a lot of data, it's a lot of stuff happening, and there's no point in the server recording everything if it's not going to be used for rollback. The way that this works is we just add the component, we do add component, and then we add the collider rollback component to it. Now let me try and move that. Let's put it somewhere, I guess. And essentially it has this auto setting where it'll automatically just gather the colliders that it should use. Or you can disable it and you can drag and drop the colliders in that you want to use. In this case, the character controller counts as a collider, and that is the one that we're using in the game. Because I don't know if you remember, but from previous videos we removed the capsule collider from the original body, and it's essentially just, the green collider that we have here. That is the character controller collider. As you can see, when I move it, it moves the whole collider. Alright, cool. So now we've essentially told it to use the character controller collider, or you could just, again, have it do it automatically, it doesn't matter. You can also choose for how much time it should store data. In our case, we don't really need 5 seconds of data. That is a lot of data to store. Again, it's not going to be that heavy, but let's go for something like 2 seconds. Might be more realistic, or 1 second or whatever. I would always recommend going a little bit over what you expect. I know you don't want to support people with 500 milliseconds ping or whatever, but I would still say, don't go too low, don't go too close to the threshold. Always record a little bit extra. Cool. Now we have to convert a few of our scripts a little bit. Right, so the very first thing is I'm going into the gun script, which is the root of all our weapons. And here where we're essentially doing the raycast, and then we're calculating the hit, and then we're telling the server, or essentially telling everybody, that the player was hit, and we're changing their health as well. Now, as you can see, this change health is happening, being called from a client to the server. That's why it's a server RPC. But now we don't actually want that anymore. What we want to do is we want to utilize the collider rollback. So going back into the collider rollback documentation, under the segment of validating this, essentially what we have to do now is we have to shoot array, and we essentially have to calculate the array. We have to tell the server that this is our array and which tick did we shoot it, and then the server should be the one actually doing the hit. Let's start from the beginning, and let's start by making our array. This is very easy. I'm just going to make a new array, call it array. I'm going to set it equals to new, and then all we're going to feed it is just the very beginning here of this raycast that we have here, like so. Just going to take that out, put it in here, and then we can put the array back into this raycast. So now it's essentially the exact same data. It's just in the shape of an array that we can now also call to the server. Now the reason why we're keeping this raycast on the client is because we still want things feeling responsive for the local player. So if you see a hit, I want to see blood coming out. I hope that makes sense. So in this case, what we should do instead is we should invert the raycast. So now we essentially uninverted. So at this point it's now a normal raycast, and we can put all this logic still in here. Because we don't want to, if we don't see a hit locally, we still want the server to shoot the hit. So that's why we don't want to return. We instead, we can do it afterwards, we can do it before, you can do it whenever you want, but we have to tell the server to now shoot this array. So now let's make a server RPC. Let's make a private void, handle. So we're going to take in our array, and then we're going to take in a double, which is essentially what the ticks are running off of. This is going to be the precise tick. Like so. So now the server is the one that's actually going to be handling the functional hit. So going back up here, let's call the handle hit. Let's call the array. And instead of here where it tried to autofill, we go network manager, tick manager, or tick module, sorry. And then we do the rollback tick. This is essentially the tick that we want to use for the rollback. I think that's pretty self-explanatory given the name. And now we also want to convert so that we're no longer handling health from here. So let's go in here and let's remove this server RPC now, because we don't want everybody to be able to change health on everyone. What we want to do instead is we want to check if we are not the server, then we just return, because only the server should be able to change the health. If you'd want, we can also just call like a log or something, debug.log error maybe. Only the server should change player's health. Now one thing notice here is we're no longer being able to send the RPC info because, well, it's no longer an RPC, but we do actually use it. So what we might want to do here is we want to get the shooter instead. So we want to get the player ID, and that'll be the shooter. And then we can just feed that to shooter here instead. Cool. So going back now, we now want this change player health to essentially be in here. And then we also want to know who is the shooter. We can now do this from the same things. We can do RPC info equals to default. And then in here, we do comma, we do info dot sender, like that. That should do the trick. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the player health here because we're still not calculating the hit. Now, just quickly going back to referencing the documentation, as you can see here, the way that we do the actual hit is we call the rollback module, and then we raycast through that. The reason for that is because this is what actually handles sort of calculating the collider in the past. So let's do that. So let's do if rollback module dot raycast, and then we feed it our array. Oh, sorry, we feed it our precise tick, we feed it our array, and then we output the hit, like so. So here we have the hit. And we might also want to give the range and the hit layer in here, so like so. So we can actually feed it the range and the hit layer, so it's the exact same raycast that's happening as up here. So as you can see, it's the exact same raycast, only difference is it also needs a tick. So now what we can do in here is we can do the same thing as we do up here. We can check if we're hitting the player health. If we're not, it's an environment hit, in which case we don't want to handle this. This still want to be handled on a client because this isn't functional, it's purely visual. And then here we can then change the health when we actually have hit the player. So this should pretty much work. Now there's still one thing, which is we're still essentially telling everybody that we hit the player when we see the player being hit. And we might want to handle this a little bit differently, but we can go about that in just a second. I guess first of all, let's just go and confirm that this logic now actually works. So let's go back to Unity, make sure that the player is saved and that it has the collider rollback component on it. And let me start up. So let me just make sure that the network manager is set up right. I think we have the connection start already on here, so this should work. We're now connected. I'm connecting the other client. And here we go. Now we're connected and we can shoot and we can still hit. And they're not taking damage because we're damaging ourselves, I think. No, he's still taking damage. What's going on here? Oh, I think it's because we are hitting ourselves, right? Because the hit layer is essentially a local thing. So we can't do this at this point. Because remember in the, is it in the play health we handle that? Yeah, set layer recursive. You can see we set the layer depending on if it's us or not. So we can't actually rely on this layer anymore. Because the layer is obviously host authed. But if we go to the guns, let's go pick the guns. You can see the hit layer. Let's try and set that also to player self. I think now when we shoot, we probably just hit ourselves. Yeah, so now you can see the player actually gets hit. That kind of works. He got hit a few times, but yeah, so the raycast is still shooting us. I think this is because we're shooting directly from the camera. It is, yeah. So shooting from the camera, we probably want to shoot a bit ahead of the camera. Now there's multiple ways to go about this, but essentially what's happening now is we're shooting from in here and then forward, and obviously we're hitting ourselves in here. So we need to shoot from, you know, somewhere out in front of the camera. Now there's multiple ways of going about this. I think I'm just going to add it manually. This is a bit lazy, but it should work. So we can just do camera transform.forward times 0.5 or something like that. And I'll just explain in a little bit why we're doing this. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that should be right. So that's the exact array. Now the reason why we're doing it like this through code as well is first of all because it's quicker, and also essentially what this means is we're moving 1 unit forward and then half a unit back, because we're essentially moving halfway back again, right? So if we take the camera position here, let's just take this. Let me just make a new object actually, just to show you guys. So this is exactly at the camera position now, and what I essentially just did is I said move forward 1 and then divided by 0.5. So essentially now we're shooting from here. So if we really wanted to, we could put it a bit closer, but I think this is fine. And we're likely not going to have players necessarily this close to each other. And if you are, you can just try and move it closer, or you could feed it a point or something like that. That should work fine. But regardless, now we should be hitting each other. Or we shouldn't be hitting ourselves is what I mean, but we should be hitting each other. Now you can see when I shoot, I do indeed hit the other. And as you can also see here, we can also see the particles come out correctly. So the hits indeed do work. We can hit him and he can die. And this is all now fully server authed. Now there's still one thing, as I mentioned, and that is this little hit particle here. This little hit particle is technically still fully client authed, which means when I see the hit, or ergo this guy sees the hit, even if the hit wasn't actually real and doesn't take damage, we're still spawning the blood right now. And the thing is, we probably still want him to do it locally, so if he sees the hit, he should still play it. But I don't think we should do it like we're doing right now, because I think they should be calling it locally. So now he's calling it locally, meaning only he will see this, because I just removed the observers, obviously. And what I think we should do is we should do a similar thing, but where the server can then also call it, but doesn't tell the person shooting. So we can do exclude owner true. So I'll explain this in a little bit. Player hit confirmation. We just feed all the same information, like so. And then this can essentially call the player hit locally. Okay, so what's happening here is the person who shoots will call the player hit, which is a local one now, which means you will see it immediately when you're the shooter. If you see that you hit someone, you'll see the blood come out. But when other players then shoot, oh sorry, yeah, when not you is shooting, you're seeing a hit from someone else, it has to be confirmed from the server that this was indeed a hit first. And if you do get that confirmation, then the server, then you play it and everybody but the person who's local shoots. I hope that makes sense. So let me just try and explain it in here very quickly. So when the white guy here on the left, which is us, he shoots, he will see the hit immediately. But other players will have to wait for the server to have confirmed this hit. So in case the hit isn't real, they won't see any blood happening. And so if you go test just locally now, it should work the exact same, which would be a good sign. So let's try and have a look. So when I shoot him, we indeed see the blood come out. And when we shoot him here, we also indeed see the blood come out. So this means that it works. It essentially just means that it's now server authed. Oh, and that was a spectating camera that just worked right there. Okay, cool. Well, I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope you learned something. I know the logic can be a little bit confusing. That's a bit back and forth, but I really hope it makes sense. Essentially, we just moved the actual hit detection and the actual damaging to be the server instead and to be fully server authed, which should make the game a lot more fair to everybody, regardless of ping. Now, of course, ping will always be a thing, especially if you're not utilizing prediction, and we will have prediction videos out in the future on how to make first-person shooter games, but that's for another time. Now, I hope you are living the dream. Please do remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I just hope that you have a wonderful day.